G'day trendsetters, coming to you today with my review of the Panaracer Gravelking X1. The Panaracer Gravelking X1R, or R if you prefer. The Panaracer Gravelking SK, aka the semi-knob, has been my go-to gravel tyre, barring of course the occasion when I review some other brand tyres and maybe some specific muddy track road needs. Hello Tuesday. The Gravelking X1 is Panaracer's first new tread pattern in about 4 years since the company launched the SS, what I like to think of as the Super Sport or the Super Speed. It's a pretty fast tyre. In fact, I have a review of that particular tyre linked in the description below. This new tyre and tread pattern also coincided with the launch of 3 new tyre compounds from those boffins at Panaracer. I have a video featuring those compounds. It's linked in the description below or on the little pop-up box on screen. The X1 I have here features one of those compounds. The X1R is the racier variant of the X1 with its race-tuned special casing and more. So with the intro mumbo jumbo out of the way, now it's time to crack on with the review. Here we are trendsetters, it's time to meet the Gravelking X1. This particular variant measures 700C by 40 millimeters. We'll check it out later on, mount it up the rims and see how accurate that is. Concerning the tread, you'll notice these outer knobs sit higher, just a little bit, versus the center tread pattern. Panaracer's thinking behind this design is that it helps to smooth the transition between terrain types and helps with overall control, etc. Panaracer informed me that this tread pattern really shines when you're picking lines through loose and rocky landscapes, what I like to call dodgy as F, whilst at the same time delivering heightened traction during straightaways and the all-important sharp turns. So cutting a long story short here, Panaracer says you get fast rolling speed and a tyre that can pretty much tackle any terrain you'll throw at it. Panaracer Gravelking X1R 700C by 45 or 45C if you prefer. And here is the X1. You can see the tread pattern is identical and the big difference here is the coloured sidewalls, much lighter with the X1R. Still get a variant of tough text beneath this fantastic tread pattern, just slightly lighter. Panaracer tells me this is their lightest tyre casing to date in the history of the company and the lowest rolling resistance of any of their tyres, possibly even lower than the much celebrated Gravelking SS. Other features, the bead lock. And this works either with hookless or hooked rims. These tyres mount up much easier than the Panaracer Gravelking SK. Those tyres had a tendency to be a little bit sloppy, particularly if you reuse them. Sometimes you had to install an extra layer of tape. Now is a good time to throw the X1s onto the gram scale. Sample number 1. 475 grams, 569 grams, 700C by 45 millimeter X1R compound, 525 grams. That's the tech specs covered. Hello, Dixie. I know someone's going to squawk about the bloody pool, but you know, it's been pretty windy lately, so get over it. Anyway, now it's time to see how the X1 tyre mounts up, yes indeed, etc., to a couple of different pairs of gravel wheels. One thing to notice about the new Gravelking X1, this is a directional tyre. I think that's pretty apparent by the tread pattern on this tyre, and in fact, right there you can see a little arrow. It should rotate that way. So ensure you mount this in the correct manner, else it might slow you down by a couple of microns. I always like to mount my tyres with the label centered pretty closely relative to the valve. I guess you could say I'm a little bit type A about that. Right, we might need a tyre lever to help give the final lift of the casing onto the rim. That's a good sign. That means there's a nice fit. I expect, fingers crossed, this tyre is going to mount up nice and easily onto this wheel set I can now freely talk about. At the time this video was recorded, this wheel set was under embargo. This is an Industry 9 Solix wheel set, part of their Solix range of wheels. I have a long-term review of this wheel set. Here's another factoid. There are two tyre levers I use for all my mounting, the trusty Pedros and the Lazine. This is an extra long tyre lever. I use it for really stubborn tyres, a bit more leverage, that sort of thing. I'll link this below. You can purchase this from Amazon, etc. And you support my Gravel Cyclist entity at the same time, no cost to you. We'll pop in the bead opposite the valve. I've tried both methods. It doesn't really matter, in my opinion, in my experience, I should say, which method you use. So I'm going to push the bead away. Yeah, I might be able to get this in on my hands. Not quite. Use my Pedros. This one doesn't need a ton of leverage. Right, she's in. There we go. I have my trusty Bontrager TLR flash charger pump here, and I have a secondary air cylinder loaded up to about 122 psi. I have taken the valve core out. I want that big shot of air to ideally pop this tyre onto the rim. And this is a dry mount, no sealant, but my sealant of choice, the best going, while to use anything else, Orange Steel Endurance formula. G'day, John, mate, if you're watching. Let's release the air pressure. Hope this bloody inflates. You hear that? The popping sound. That is the sound of success, my friends. Panaracer Gravelking X1R. DT Swiss GRC 1100 die cut. Bontrager TLR flash charger pump. Secondary cylinder. Loaded up to 120 psi. Dry mount, no sealant. All right, you heard the sound. All right, that's the techie specs, the weighing, the tyre mounting. Hello, Tuesday the dog. Now it's time to find out how the Panaracer Gravelking X1 tyre rides. Placebo-wise, both the X1 and X1R roll faster than their brethren, the Gravelking SK, across most road conditions, SK meaning semi-knob. I have no way of proving this feeling of speed, but I conducted some research, and a certain website all about rolling resistance relating to bicycle tyres rated the X1R in particular very highly, a 4.5 out of 5. The telltale sign of less rolling resistance in the real world is on smooth pavement with virtually none of the howling sound I've always associated with the GK-SK tyre. Encountering slightly moist roads, and I'm not talking about frame-destroying mud here, the X1 and X1R still exhibit a good feeling of speed, still faster in my mind than my go-to tyre for so many years, the Gravelking SK. However, the X1R, at least, did a decent job of clearing mud in this scene, but my mud may be different from your mud. There's a lot to love about this new tread pattern, including excellent cornering grip across every road surface I've subjected the X1 and X1R to. I rode the X1 in Nevada during Shimano's GRX Di2 press camp and at Peter Stettner's Pay Dirt, an event guaranteed to test one's skills and tyres along certain parts of the course. I certainly appreciated the tougher casing of the X1 in this instance. There was plenty of rocky, chunky terrain that required careful finessing of the bike at times. The X1's casing shrugged everything off, which included multiple stream crossings. This course also threw fast descents at the rider, with many deep sandy sections and nice flowing single track. The 45mm wide tyre casings with good skills lapped up all of the sandy sectors. I just glided straight on through. Feeling wise, the X1 and X1R both ride harsher at the equivalent tyre pressure of the GKSK. I asked my mate Jeff Zell of Panaracer USA, boffin of boffins, aka super smart tyre bloke, about what was happening here. This all has to do with the Tough Tex protection in both variants of the X1. Simply put, Tough Tex isn't as pliable or flexible, or their ultra wanky word, supple, as the GKSK casing. Therefore, I had to adjust my already low tyre pressure to lower again for the X1 tyres. I'm talking about 17 to 20 psi for both variants, with my body weight anywhere from 160 to 165 pounds. Your pressure may vary. See my handy tyre pressure chart linked below and on screen for an idea of where to start. Once set appropriately, the X1 and X1R both rode markedly better, offering a very comfortable ride, especially in the 700C/45 casing size. Durability of these tyres is excellent. I haven't racked up pro volume riding on them, but following at least 2 months of solid use, tread patterns are looking good with plenty of rubber remaining. I experienced no bottoming out or burping at these low pressures, but these tyres are sensitive to pressure, so tinker to find out what is ideal for you. I guarantee you it'll be worth it for the comfort and feeling of speed. Everyone's going to ask, which of the casings do you prefer? Well, X1R without doubt. I appreciate the slightly less weight, which is difficult to feel, but I know it's there, and therefore the bike feels more sprightly in or out of the saddle. Overall, the X1 and X1R may have replaced the GKSK as my go-to all-rounder tyre, which gives you an idea of how much I love the X1 and X1R. My only complaint is I wish they were a little lighter, but I think the much improved tread pattern and lower rolling resistance are worth this trade-off. I cannot speak for their performance in heavy sticky mud, but Panaracer has you covered there with the EXT tyre, one I reviewed when it was known as the Mud. Review linked below. Panaracer makes these tyres available in 700C/35, 40 and 45mm, and I reckon we'll hear riders demanding a 700C/50 variant later. I cannot recommend these tyres enough, and I especially love the fact Panaracer makes these tyres available in limited edition colours, tan, Sidewall and so on, or all black if you prefer. The choice is yours. So there you have it, trendsetters, my review of the Panaracer Gravelking X1R. As always, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the Gravel Cyclist YouTube channel for real-world, no bullshit product reviews such as this one. Real-world gravel bike reviews, ride experience videos, and, well, my favourite really, general madness. Dinner time is in an hour's time at least. Wow. No. We've reached DEFCON 4. Tuesday. You need to learn some manners. Yes, as all of it is released to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.